In this tutorial, I'll show you how to use the Cricut Maker to cut styrene. A lot of scale modelers and miniaturists love working with styrene or plastic art because of its versatility. But sometimes you need multiple of the same pieces, or they need to be precise to fit. So let me show you the 5 steps that take you from designing to cutting your styrene pieces. I'll also cover questions on the thickness of the materials and which blades to use. Welcome to the Geeky Workbench. The first step is creating your design. I use Adobe Illustrator for this, but you could also use the free alternative Inkscape or something similar. And for this tutorial, I'm making a simple sci-fi box. These pieces will be the structural pieces, and on the right side, I'm creating the panels and smaller details I want to cut from different styrene thickness. So keep in mind which design you want to cut with which styrene and keep them separate. Make 2 different files. And once you're finished with your designs, export them as SVG files. And as you can see here, I had one Adobe Illustrator file open, but I'm exporting them as 2 different files, 1 and 2, because that makes it easier to open them in the Cricut software. Next, we need to prepare the material, and I always use the strong grip mat, onto which I lay the styrene sheet. And I'm starting with 1 millimeter, which I secure with a bit of masking tape, and I do this no matter the thickness of the styrene. Once that's done, I open the Cricut software, which is called Design Space, and upload the image I just saved. You could also design your objects right here in Cricut Design Space, but I just use Adobe. What's important is to attach your objects so they stay the way you designed them and Cricut doesn't take them apart, which can happen if you have a design that has multiple lines within one object. Next, we need to specify which size the material has, in my case an A4. And then we can choose from the materials. I'm using plastic packaging for this 1 millimeter styrene. And I change the pressure from default to more. And then we can already start cutting. So you load your cutting mat into the machine, press the arrow, and the machine pulls in the material, and then you can press C. And for 1 millimeter styrene, I usually do 2 passes before I unload the mat with the arrow. And it looks quite good, but we're not taking the pieces off just yet because we're doing the same steps for the 0.5 millimeter styrene. So again, put it onto the mat, secure it with masking tape, and load the machine. And when the machine is done, you can either unload with the arrow or cut again with the C. And I'm cutting again just to be safe. These also look good, so now we can remove all the pieces. And mostly you can just snap them out from the sheet, but sometimes you need to cut a few places with a knife. But it's fairly easy. And here with the grate, I had to do some cutting. Maybe I should have let the machine do a 3rd pass. Maybe I wouldn't have to do the cutting, but it's still quite easy. As you can see here, the structure of the simple sci-fi box was made from 1 millimeter styrene, and all the panels I'm now gluing to the outside are 0.5 millimeters. Also the grate. And that's how I go about most of the designs. Thicker material for the structure and thinner material for detail and paneling. And one question was, what's the max thickness? The max thickness is 2.4, but the thickest styrene I have is 2 millimeters, so I'm doing that. As you can see here, you need to push these star wheels aside for thicker materials and also change the blade. More about the blade later, but then it's the same. You upload your design, and here you can see you need 24 passes and it still doesn't cut all the way through. As you can see on the back. But with the help of a knife, 1 or 2 passes with a knife, you can easily snap the pieces off here as well. And I use a pair of pliers to help me snap off the smaller pieces. Yeah, and that's 2 millimeter styrene cut. Fairly easy, I think. The next question is, which blades for what? I have 3 blades. The first one is the knife blade, which I used for this 2 millimeter styrene. And because of the size, obviously you can only do moderate detail. But the deep point blade is for more intricate cuts on thicker materials such as medium to thick styrene. And lastly, the fine point blade, which is for finer details but thinner materials. I tried to keep this tutorial as concise as possible, so if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you found this tutorial helpful, and if there's another topic or tool you'd like me to cover in a tutorial. Thank you for watching and have fun creating!